Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more slug testing. I've got another new slug out here today that we haven't tried yet, so I'm excited to see what kind of performance it can actually give us. And for the shells I've brought out here today, I've got some of these, the Hornady Superformance Sabot slugs. These are a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 300 grain Monoflex projectile Sabot slug. And they're saying they want to go 1950 feet per second from the muzzle, but we're going to test that and see. And this is what the shells actually look like here. Just a normal 2 3/4 with what looks like a nickel plated base here to the case, but there's that Monoflex projectile in there. Maybe you can see it with the sun. It's got that bright red rubber flex tip on it, and it's a nice shiny copper round down in there. So definitely pretty interesting looking, and I'm hoping for some good performance out of it. And as for the setup we're going to be running today, I brought back out this guy. This is my Remington 870 Magnum Special Purpose with the 18.5 inch fully rifled cantilever barrel on it, and on top is a loopholed VX1 2-7x28 here. Now if you've been following the channel for any length of time and watching some of these slug videos with this gun, this has been a very picky slug gun. We've only found 1 or 2 shells that it actually shoots pretty decent with. So we're going to find out here if it actually likes some of these Hornady Superformance Sabot slugs or not. I don't know. It may really like them or it may really hate them. It could go either way with this setup. So with that being said, as for the testing, I don't have a ton of these slugs today, so I'm not going to be able to shoot a bunch of groups to get like an average group size or anything like that. But we will do the same as usual. We'll start off with a 3-shot group at 50 yards just to see where they're hitting and what kind of group we can get. And then we'll move that target out to 100 yards and shoot another 3-shot group and see what kind of accuracy we can get there as well. Now, of course, I have the chronograph out here as usual, so we'll be able to see how close we actually get to the box claim of that 1950. I doubt we'll see it out of this shorter 18.5 inch barrel, but Hornady does ramble on about how their powder technology in those shells give you better and more consistent velocities, so we'll see if it actually makes any kind of a difference out of this 18.5 inch barrel. But either way, let's start off with shooting our 3-shot group at 50. We'll move it out to 100 and shoot another group, and then we'll come back here and look at chrono and accuracy. So let's get you guys a view of the target and the chrono and see what these Hornady Superformance 300 grain Sabot slugs can do for us. Alright, so now let's take a look at our chronograph numbers real quick here. And we definitely were not very consistent from what I could see. Remember, the box was claiming 1950. Now, we did see a round or two over that, and we saw a number of rounds under that as well. So let's just go through here and see what kind of a spread we have and what kind of numbers we got. So for high, it gave us 2368. For a low, it gave us 1106. And that gave us an average of 1771. So definitely all over the map there. I mean, there was a difference of over 1,000 feet per second. So definitely not what I would call very consistent. Now, the average itself being 1771 is not too bad at all for being an 18.5 inch barrel. And that number would kind of make sense based on the 1950 that's on the box, probably being tested through a longer barrel. But as for consistency goes, we definitely did not see a whole lot of that. But how about the accuracy? Let's go up and take a look and see what we got as far as our accuracy is concerned. Alright, so now we're looking at our targets here, and this is pretty interesting. This is not at all what I expected to see, and it definitely gave us some pretty odd results, I guess you could say. Definitely not something that I normally see when doing grouping and accuracy tests and stuff. But let's take a look here at our numbers and see what it gave us here. We'll start off with the 50-yard target, which is actually the worst group up there at the top. Let's measure that one and see what it gave us at 50. Okay, so at 50 yards, it gave us a 2.64 inch group up there at the top. Now that was really interesting. That's definitely not a great looking group for 50 yards there. We did have one center punch, but that doesn't matter when we're going for groups here. I really don't know what to make of this. I think this very top bullet hole up here was the 2,300 and something feet per second round, so that could make some sense, but either way, not a very impressive group here for sure. But moving down to that bottom target, that was our 100-yard group, and that really surprised me. After seeing that 50-yard group looking like that, I did not at all expect to have any kind of decent accuracy at 100 yards. So having 3 of them pretty much touching each other is not even close to what I thought was going to happen. But let's measure it and see what it actually gave us. Alright, so our bottom target at 100 yards gave us a 1.24 inch group, and that is from center to center on the 2 farthest holes. So definitely a pretty nice looking little group right there. But it absolutely surprised me and kind of came out of the blue. After seeing that 2.5 inch group or whatever it was at 50 yards, I expected at least, 5-6 inch group or worse out at 100. So what do you guys think changed here as to why we had a better group at 100 than we did at 50? Is it just luck of the draw on inconsistencies with these loads, or do you think it's something else? I felt good about all the trigger squeezes. It wasn't my first time shooting for the day, so really nothing except heat or the cold bore shot should have made any difference. And I did let the gun cool down between the 50 and the 100 yard group, so I don't know on this one. I guess I'll leave it up to y'all. Let me know what y'all think about it. Alright, and here's the Sabot out of those slugs, and this is pretty interesting. You can definitely see that it opened up pretty good here, but what I'm looking at is the rifling marks on it. We only see rifle engagement about halfway up this Sabot here. Usually, I see them pretty much all the way down the side, and that's not at all what we saw here. And every one of them that I picked up looked exactly like this. So could that have played into a little bit of inconsistency? So I don't know. Definitely something pretty interesting to see here that, I don't know, maybe it could have played a role in some of the inconsistencies? I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about it. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about this test here today? We got some pretty unusual results. I mean, to start out with, the chronograph numbers were all over the place, which definitely could have affected our 50-yard group there, but it didn't really make any sense because they didn't really get any more consistent as we shot the 100-yard group either. So what do you guys think went on here, and why do you think the 100-yard group was a lot better than the 50? Leave your comment and let me know all your thoughts about it, because I really don't know. We did see good performance, but we also saw bad performance. But with that being said, we also have an Instagram where you can go over there and see some sneak peeks and updates and things. If you would like to go over there and check it out, the link will be in the description as always. But on that note, I'm going to jump back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.